Get us started.
You bet.
Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, as we bow our heads before Thee as council to the town of Carson, we ask that Thy Spirit will be with us, that the decisions we make will be for the benefit of the community. We ask that we support one another and that we have open discussions. And these things we ask for and humbly pray for in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councillor.
For the love, Councillor.
Welcome, Councillor. We're just about to call the meeting to order.
At 4 o'clock, you're calling the meeting to order at 4 o'clock.
It's 12th day of March 2019. It's actually 5 p.m., Councillor.
2 minutes early. Yeah, we're 2 minutes early here.
Yeah, you got a couple minutes, man.
You are?
All right.
Go ahead and do it. She's just getting ready. It'll take her 15.
Okay.
So did you bring the Easter Bunny home?
Welcome. All right. Just to give you a sense before we get started, the meeting should be a fairly short meeting. There are a few things on the question that Councillor Barnes wants to address. So we'll get started now. So here you have an agenda. First of all, we'd like to welcome our media, Corey McCarthy for Channel 32, and we are very happy to see you in better form. Keep on the good work there. And welcome, Gunnar Gibb for Temple City Star. Thank you for being both there. It's very important service to the community. We have the agenda that has been distributed. If there are no additions, we need to adopt the agenda. Councillor Court?
I'll make a motion to adopt the
I
agenda.
wanted to add that. Did you already put that down? What I wanted to add to the agenda?
It's under question,
Okay,
Councillor.
all right. Good.
All in favor? Thank you very much. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, there will be 4 items added under question, and Councillor Barnes will address them. We have no delegation today, so we have minutes of February the 26th that are there. I read them, feel comfortable with them. Councillor Brown?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 26, 2019 council meeting.
Thank you. Questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. Bylaw and policy, we don't have any at this point. So there is an item of business under 7. Councillor Selk has requested from administration to bring us an update on the commercial industrial land that the town owns and the different properties that are therefore under the same kind of 7A item. So Jeff, do you want to maybe address that item for us?
I know Councillor Selk wanted this pulled up to start that, and then I just put what I had on the land stuff in previous backgrounders, but
Right.
not much to add.
So is there something you would like to talk about, Councillor?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome.
First of all, Jeff, I just want to say thanks for putting in all the information on the backgrounder. There's a couple things, and it's just not about the land. It's more about...
Servicing?
No, actually.
Okay.
It's about being investment ready as a town for prospective businesses. So I appreciate this. My only comment, Jeff, is that I know where you found this, but it's a little bit, I won't say it's onerous, but you got to go searching for it in order to find this information.
So you're talking about those listings on
Yes.
the website? Sure.
Right. So what I would like to suggest, and maybe we can just cut right to it. Shem, can you scroll this up a little bit?
You're just a small.
Okay,
On the resolution screen right now, so it's.
that's fine. You can scroll it down, please, so, my only comment is, what's wrong with this picture?
Too late. You can't
Okay,
see.
fair enough.
Go bigger.
Don't criticize picture quality, we're using our projector.
Okay, the title on the top talks residents, visitor, business, etc. So if you press on business, you should be able to have something come up.
Okay. What I wanted to get at was, if you scroll this up and look,
Yeah.
there's 3 pictures of us, which if you ask most people, there's either 2 or 3 too many of us on the web page, right? What I'd like to see, and this is what part of the discussion I wanted to talk about, was there should be a link, something in bold right on that page that
For
talks
business.
about, exactly,
Right.
about being investment ready,
Right.
and that we have commercial and industrial land for sale, we
Yeah.
have facilities that, and a list of we have a water treatment plant, we have a sewer treatment plant, and all of the
Right.
things that make us investment
amenities.
ready. Yes. For business to come to town, so that it's right there, it's on the front page, and it's easily accessible so that business can just click on that
Jim,
and see what's
where are you
available.
finding this information now?
That's a website. That's a web page.
No, he's going to something here.
He's just touching business and then it lights it up.
Yeah.
Well, we have economic development and licenses.
Yep. Now, Shem, if you just back that up a little bit, back it up, back it up, back it up. Right. This directory and this economic development plan, well, the directory is from 2016.
Yeah.
So if you go and read on there, it's Mayor Maggie Kronen, Councillor Bill Pivoy.
Yeah, it's not updated.
All of
You're
that
right.
needs to be updated. And our economic development plan, I think Jeff wrote it in 2013. It was updated somewhat in 2016, but it's extremely dated
Heavy.
in terms of the information and the direction that we're going. So I guess my question is, and this is for you, Jeff, is does Angel or your staff have enough time to go through this? Or
We
is
get
this
somebody.
something that if no one objects, do I just grab it and run with it myself?
Right. So,
Even the population's wrong. We're 400 more than that.
that's pulling from a provincial database, so,
Mhm.
all that stuff there. May I, Mayor?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Let's see. With the timing thing, it ebbs and flows.
Okay.
So if you asked Angel in February, the answer is no. But in May, yes, probably. So her stuff, we've got WCB audits done, we've got all the licensing done, we've got all that stuff now is concluded. And so now there'll be some time starting to free up. It hasn't been that there's been 50% of the time every week that's been available, but we're hoping over the course of the year that's a little better. But it's been sparse this last 6 weeks or so, as you would know. So I met with her actually this week to ask about that. She said, there will be times I'm gonna have available time that I can really focus on a bunch of these things. So we're hoping we're getting to that, because we just had to finish up a bunch of the year-end stuff and audit and all that stuff. So I'm hoping we get there with regards to the ECDEV plan, because the ECDEV board hasn't done a plan the same way that they did back in 2013, which is fine. We could, in the meantime, simply put that section of council strategic plan. Like, we have all that prepared, right? We have those subtasks, we have all that stuff, and we could plug that in quite quickly and easily to get that updated.
Okay, because, I agree. The elements of our strategic plan that deal with economic development should replace pretty much the entire segment of,
Yeah, that old one had a lot of focus on like oil field service industry education, for example.
right?
Which at the time was quite timely, because oil companies were running around to everyone their own land.
That's right,
Trying to buy the rights, right?
Right.
So yes, we could incorporate that relatively quickly and easily, like in the next day or two. I know, Shem, if you scroll down that a bit, which is it Alberta Southwest or South Grow that's affiliated with the group that does the demographic piece, does it?
South
It's
Grove.
South Grove.
So that's what you're seeing there.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that is that demographic information for the town that's coming from a central database.
Great.
And it's agreed, Councillor Barnes, the population hasn't represented our municipal census. So I just don't know enough about this to know where they're pulling it. But we can look at that and send some feedback on that as well. I think that's only been up about 2 or 3 months or so. I don't think
Yeah,
it's been
no,
very long.
This particular part of the website hasn't been up for very long.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing we have, and we have it in print form because we send it out when people inquire, is we did a community profile that talked about
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff you were mentioning that we would send out to people, and we might have replaced it with this.
We did
but
that last council.
We may not want to replace it with that.
Alberta South Grove had a profile that they did for us.
Well, and that's what they're using to replace is this software.
Right.
Yeah. But we did one in-house that was just a little more
Yeah.
border crossing numbers, traffic and strategic
Right.
location numbers, that kind of stuff that wouldn't be on here. And I know I did it before I was CAO, but Alex has since updated it, so it's around in print form somewhere. Yeah. So we can have a look at
Done
that.
last council, I
Yes,
think.
we can give this some attention in the near future here, for sure.
So, Jeff, for my information, who in-house deals with the update of the website on a regular basis? Is that Shem?
Yeah. Now, some of those pages come from different departments and different things, right? So there's a bit of a cooperative effort there, but yeah.
Okay,
I guess what I would love to see on the front page of the website is that it's business focused, it's investment focused, it's,
family.
and please take at least 2 of our pictures off of there.
Do you know, do you have in the back of your mind others that you think do that really well?
I don't,
Okay.
because I haven't done a lot of research on it,
Okay.
but
Red
I just
Deer.
didn't know if it came
Red
up
Deer.
at something
Deer.
that
Yeah,
looks
Red
like
Deer.
that one
Red
does
Deer.
it really well. We could kind of
Red
look
Deer.
at how they-
Could,
okay.
could you maybe even ask Peter at South Grove? Because we had someone who came and did the upgrade of the South Grove website. And they did a very good job, so maybe that could be something
Yep.
to try to see. They would even know how much it costs to get an upgrade.
sure. Yeah,
I mean, you almost need somebody that has 30 hours and run with it.
right.
I mean, Shem doesn't particularly have 30 hours ready.
But over time, I mean,
Yeah.
it can be incremental. right?
Yeah. The other thought I had about this, because, you know, we have some very nice parcels of industrial commercial land.
Yeah.
Do we actually put up a sign on the highway that says land
Yeah,
for sale?
we
Right,
don't.
we haven't, and actually you could find some arguments on both sides of that sign thing.
Okay.
But one thing that we didn't do that we need to do is in 2016 when we determined the phasing and the pricing for the West Industrial,
Yes.
is the intent is that they were commissionable, and we were gonna get information packets out to all the realtors.
That's right.
And I'll admit that hasn't happened. So they're available, like if there's an inquiry, we can certainly entertain it, we've got the maps, we got the next utility connection and all that. But we need to get that ready so that they're motivated to sell it. Because I know, like I've talked to a couple of realtors who said, we don't push town property because we don't get a commission on it. The town by rule never allowed it.
They used to,
Yeah, back in the day, yeah.
but then when Mayor Bagazi came in, he changed
It
that.
went away, yeah. And so when we talked in 2016, the discussion was, we need to make sure we have enough, that 3% in here or whatever to cover off that kind of thing. Because the realtors aren't pushing this land for that reason. So
Yeah.
that was in that motion to make sure it was commissionable.
Right.
We just need to get the paperwork around that done.
Right, because that was by the previous council that
Right.
motion was passed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I noticed the residential properties in there, and they're all, is that the cul-de-sac that's down by the Remington Center? Or
Yes.
the Reunion Center, rather?
That's a-
That's all town.
Belleville?
Yeah. I think there's,
Right.
affectionately
That's what
called
they call
Belleville.
Yep.
Yes, I want to say there's 6 or 7
Yeah.
years left, something like
Okay, so that's what I thought those pieces of property were. And where else does the town own residential land?
Here and there, a little bit here and there, but
We
not
might have
tons.
an infill lot here and there, but
Okay.
not much.
Okay, so we don't personally have a lot of residential land?
No.
Okay,
There's about 140 subdivided residential lots available in Carson right now.
right,
Between all the private developments and what the town has.
right,
But we're down to just that cul-de-sac is developed lots.
okay. And obviously, we'd like to see those developments flourish. So again, somehow if we can put, something on there for, even if it helps out the realtors or the developers or whoever. And the other thought I had was, and I don't know how council feels about this, but we should be highlighting our businesses on our website one a week. One business a week should be on there, just who they are and what they do. We don't, we're not, we want to pump the tires of all of our businesses and all of our enterprises in town. So I personally think that's a good use of our website, is to highlight the business highlight of the week or whatever, just so that we're working with the chamber and the other businesses to.
Agreed.
This is ringing a bell for me.
We talked about it. We talked about doing it, and we talked to the, sorry.
Go ahead.
We talked about it last year, and we talked about doing it, whether it was one a week, one a month, and then we also talked to the chamber if they wanted to work with us on doing it. But we never did hear back, and so the ball kind of got dropped. But yeah, we did talk about this.
I remember, boy, I'd have to go back a few years. We did this in the paper weekly.
Yep.
We partnered with the chamber. We split the cost of the ad space, and the chamber had a business lined up every week, and the business had
There was
a
a
little
write-up.
small profile write-up.
Yeah.
And that was in their every paper. That's a number of years back.
Didn't
Councillor
we talk about putting it on the marquee up here?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we, okay, yeah, I remember that conversation too.
I mean, in our previous economic development plan, we had a number of initiatives that we were gonna put on business lunches and stuff like that. And I read through that and I go, wow, clearly that didn't happen. So,
We did a number.
did we?
Oh, yeah, we were doing a couple a year.
Really? Okay.
We,
Yeah.
we have done
Yeah, we
that.
had a number of topics, and some were well-attended and some weren't. We filled the room a couple of times, and then we had 6 of us that, you hit and miss on the topics a bit.
Okay.
We had some really pretty good ones on. Business with First Nations was one of them.
Yeah,
big
that was the
attended
biggest one.
ones. And the oilfield service
Oilfield
business
service.
was a big attended one.
Right. Well, I guess that's part of our revamping the economic development plan, is we either stroke all that stuff out or we
Right.
reignite it. Either way, we just gotta be,
Topics.
we gotta be genuine in what we're talking about in our economic development plan, and what we're gonna deliver.
Have you, with your committee, maybe put a little bit of an ask of what could be in that website regarding ECDEV?
Okay, we reviewed briefly the economic development plan, and all the comments I got were, yeah, this is extremely outdated.
Okay,
And so I guess I said to him, if you want to feed back into this, we're welcome to, receive any comments that you may have.
Yeah.
But
so would they be willing to kind of work as a group?
I'm sure they would. It would depend, Mayor, on what you're asking them to do. Are you asking them just to feed ideas in?
At this point, I would think it's ideas so that one that do a little bit of a revamp of the website, that could pay more attention to this or that or whichever. I mean, you already mentioned a few things. Maybe if there was a list and a priority list, maybe it could be something could be done. Possibly, I don't know.
Councillor Bengry first, then me.
No.
I think Councillor Barnes, being Southwest, we could go to Southwest and ask, what's her name?
F. Thornton.
Bev Thornton for some real assistance on that, because they're promoting businesses,
Yeah.
and I think they'd be more than happy to do that.
Now, I was just going to mention, on that regard, there are some businesses that will purchase from the town a business license that's good for our whole region.
The
And they
regional
can do
license,
work in different communities, because they sell them.
Because that should be.
That could be on there for
in that
sure.
too.
But also, when every business pays for their business license, there's a list that's been made up. I know my business, we were about a week late we were switching over companies, and my company sent the money in for the business license a week after the list was finalized, and so mine didn't get on the list. But there's that list every year of all the businesses that we could contact those people and say, hey, it's your turn to be profiled, give us a little blurb on your business, and I think it would be not that difficult. Do you, Shem? I mean, you've got that list, so it shouldn't be that hard to, and all their phone numbers are there.
I'm in the content, I could put anything up on the
Yeah, exactly. And that's all we need to do is contact those people, maybe take that list and break it down into so many per month, and then your month's coming up this time, and you got this much time to get it in, and I think that could be possible.
Say from previous experience, they do not volunteer that even though you're
No.
going to feature them.
Yeah,
Most of the time, we didn't have anything ready to go
Yeah,
for the next week
it's-
because the people that were lined up didn't give us any information. Like it required a lot of follow-up and begging and pleading.
So,
Well, maybe if we even do nothing more than just,
put the list up.
or throw a picture of the
Yeah,
storefront
yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
Picture, address,
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
yeah, so that way we know, we can
Maybe do our
say to
own
whoever's researching that,
business,
here's the business of the week or
general
whatever,
hardware.
and show a picture of it.
Yeah.
That way they know it's here at least.
Yeah. And for those who want something on their profile, then they could get it in there. I think it's gonna take some time, but after a while, those who just got a picture and a phone number on there are gonna say, hey, they had a write-up on theirs, and we'd like to have that too.
We
Yes,
had
we
a
did.
business with a phone number and address, and that was it.
Yeah,
And so, that's
Yeah.
what we got.
yeah, exactly. Well, and you can't do anything more than that, right? You just do the best you can.
Councillor Selk?
As an aside, Mayor, we didn't get any representation from the county at our meeting yesterday.
I just wondered. Thank you.
I think from what I'm hearing from what Councillor Selk is saying, Councillor Drew and I went, when we were at AUMA, we went to a Red Deer, the mayor of Red Deer got up and she spoke pretty much exactly what you're talking about. And she said how they started to look at economic growth as in we have to have it or we can't survive. And she said, one of the very first things that you have to do is what you've just said, is get your web page up so that as businesses are searching, bang, there's your link. Bang. They don't want to make 400 phone calls. They want all the information right at their fingertips, especially this generation that is looking at buying. And for me, having a business, if I own a business, and having it spotlighted and the town is noticing my business, that to me is huge because it means that council is seeing, it knows that I exist and cares about us. And I think that's really important for the business owners to hear, whether they're on Main Street, out of their basements, wherever they're running a business in
Yeah.
Kirston. If they have a business license, we should be supporting them.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea.
There is also, very often we hear from another town that the big problem is what I call the red tape, because they come to a town, they want to invest, but they really don't know who to contact in order to go down to doing business. I think that's another thing that can be added to the website. Person of contact that would have the knowledge as to what you need to get busy.
Again, I just want to make sure that when we have a link, it's all encompassing so that people know that
Right,
we're open for
one-stop
business.
shop.
Yeah, we're open for business,
That's what it
investment
says.
ready, here
Yeah.
we go. If you're looking to invest in Cardston, here you go.
Yeah, I remember going to a meeting like that, and that's what I call it, one-stop shop, where you have one link and you have everything that comes there. Yeah.
We also need to upgrade the pictures of our Main Street. I get so tired of seeing the dirty 30s from the top of the hill down, shooting down Main Street.
You don't like that picture?
No. I think we need to have a modernized picture, different angles of our Main Street.
Okay. Mayor, I'm going to go out on a limb here because this is a perfect segue into the other thought that I have for this discussion. When we were at Brownlee, they talked about brownfield tax incentives.
Yeah,
And that it
exactly.
was only for, we thought it was only for unsightly open fields that had
Right.
whatever, and that it was oil and gas related. Come to find out it's not. You can have a building that can be included under the brownfield tax incentives if it has some sort of contaminant or whatever, like asbestos or whatever. So I think what we need to explore is there's probably 2 or 3, 4, I don't know, I'm not going to put a number on it, buildings on Main Street that need some care and attention. And maybe we could explore the notion of this brownfield tax incentive for getting some traction on
Right.
some of the premises on Main Street.
Might be an interesting concept.
So are you talking vacant or are you talking existing?
Yes.
Both? Okay, no, I just was.
There's a flower shop down on Main Street.
I don't own the flower shop, so yeah, that's fine.
But it answers your question,
Yeah,
Councillor.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I know there are some buildings down there. When you get into asbestos, it's pretty costly to remove that stuff because you can't do it yourself. You definitely have to have professionals that go in there.
We're talking about tax
And it's,
incentives.
I know I had a building and, to do that, they wanted around 18 or 19,000 bucks just to clean it up, So you gotta be, that's a lot of money.
But there may be opportunities.
Yeah.
That we can explore for tax incentives, grant funds, whatever the case may be.
Right.
All right, so maybe the recommendation will be for administration to look into, first of all, the legality of that,
The brownfield tax.
brownfield
tax.
taxes, and apply it to other contaminant, and then see if there are grants available.
Absolutely.
All right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mayor.
Yes.
Can I ask something for the website piece? Jim and I are just messaging back and forth here. You just met yesterday, correct, Councillor, on Deb?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're not gonna meet again for a bit. I was just thinking internally, what if Shem put together some, we can update information and everything right away, that's fine. And then do that, and then what if he attends your next Deb meeting?
That would be,
Just to walk through the website and say, okay,
Yep.
what about this, what about this, how's this going? And just kind of have a walkthrough of the business side of the website
that would be
with the Dev board.
amazing. That would be
Okay.
perfect.
Let's plan on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so those are the recommendation.
On the brownfield, I may ask if you want to make a motion on this, only because there's going to be some best practice, but we may want to apply a little bit of legal funds on some specific properties,
Right.
just to explore this a little further. And if
Okay.
you want us to do that, it might be good to have a resolution for us to proceed more information on brownfield development.
Okay, so Councillor Selk, would you like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we
Explore
explore further the brownfield tax.
and the legal
and
implication.
the legal implications. And should I include in there, Mayor, to expend funds if necessary
Yes.
Selected legal funds. so
Yes.
that's fine.
out of the legal funds?
Okay,
Okay,
for a motion. there,
so, well, done. So questions regarding that motion? Seeing none. All in favor? Thank you very much. All right, so that's good. Thank you, Councillor, for bringing that up.
No problem.
All right, so let's go through the recommendations from CCW. 7B1 is 3rd and 4th Avenue West speed limit. Councillor Selk had made that recommendation so if you want to do the motion, go ahead.
I move that we adjust the speed limits from First Street to Fifth Street on 3rd Avenue West to 30 kilometers.
And there was
And-
another one.
And then on all of 4th Avenue West to post the signage accordingly.
Right. Questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor.
The only problem I see with Third Avenue is we're starting to tag all of our main systems with speed limits reducing the speed limits. Usually when they reduce a speed limit, it's because of accidents or whatever. The biggest thing is accidents. If you go through any small town, they have school zones, playground zones, and you reduce your speed. But to go from 1st Street West to 5th Street, which is the other side of the town square, you know, we're dogging it on two main avenues. And I don't know what's going to happen with 2nd Avenue, what's going to happen with 4th Avenue. Are we gonna look at all these things and do this? And it's just a concern.
Yeah, you missed the presentation by our peace officers, so you're a little bit out of the loop on that one, but
I was just going
Councillor
to mention
Cole.
those two avenues, 3rd and 4th, are the two that have playground zones and school zones. And that seems what, and the temple, which seems
Yeah.
to be the,
Essentially,
And the seniors, thank you.
the difficulty for a peace officer was that the break
yeah.
in the speed zones and people not respecting them, and for him to be obligated to ticket them on a portion where they are going just a bit too fast. And so he felt that really, for the population at large, what is proposed there would create a better playing field for the drivers, where they don't have to concern themselves, where does it start, where does it end? And so that is why he recommended that it would be done that way. And we kind of concurred. Councillor Selk.
And I think part of that discussion too, for Councillor Bengry's benefit, was to simplify it for the bylaw officer, just to simplify the zone so that it's not, anyway.
So
Well, if
many of those signs that are there on the street will be removed and changed to simply 30 kilometer an hour over the stretch.
If council remembers, I brought this up probably last August, basically throwing under the bus that I wanted to post a speed limit all the way up 4th Avenue. And there was no discussion at all on it. And I think we need to take serious look when a councillor presents something, and there's due diligence done in his presentation because he's had discussions with residents. We need to listen to that councillor.
Well,
whoever it is.
Councillor, we'll take note.
Thank you.
We take it under advisement,
Thank you.
as George Cuff would say. Thank you, Councillor. All right, so we have a motion on the table. All in favor? Thank you. 7B2, here, if you remember, it was going to be under a different heading of bylaw. So the cars that are going to be sitting on a piece of property, yes?
This is about removing items from
Oh.
the transfer station.
All right, sorry about that. The unsightly premises, I'm going a little too fast. Okay, so who wants to deal with this one?
So I make a motion to amend to the garbage bylaw.
Hold on. That's, I had the one change in there. We're changing the unsightly premise, not the garbage bylaw.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's why I got myself confused.
Yeah, I don't have that amendment in
have.
here.
Down in your requested action section. That's where I put it, sorry.
Perfect.
So read, it just says
I
different
would
wording.
love to read that.
Just change, well, don't read that verbatim, but just change the garbage bylaw to unsightly premises bylaw. That's all.
I had made a recommendation,
Yeah.
but the bylaw under which the item will be found is now the unsightly premises bylaw.
Now the,
Yeah.
Actually, Mayor, let me explain that just a bit. When we talked at committee meeting, we were talking about putting this under the garbage bylaw that you couldn't attend to the transfer station if this had happened. And as Brad got looking at it, he came and said, you know, when someone has an unsightly premise action against them, I give them a list of conditions they must comply to during that action. And he says, I can make that one of the conditions. And he said, so the mechanism kind of already exists that we can just add a condition with a fine if they don't comply. And so he recommended that we don't do it under the garbage bylaw, we do it under the unsightly premise so that he can add as a condition of their order. And so the motion can read exactly the same, except where it says garbage bylaw, say unsightly premises bylaw. And then it reads just fine.
Makes sense to me.
So apparently I'm doing that. So amend the bylaw to be unsightly premise bylaw. And then a draft amended to the unsightly premise bylaw.
Sorry, I'm really throwing you off here, Councillor.
Yeah.
Can you
Go
just-
back up to the top to number 2, where the motion from Mayor Kronen was.
Yes.
And just don't read it as unsightly, not garbage on the second line.
Oh, Shem, I just read that. Got it? Thanks, Shem. Did it?
Okay, yeah, so we
We
need to
understand.
stop
We
it
got
at that point.
Amendment to the unsightly.
All right, it's a little bit complicated because we changed the title.
Got it. I totally did it.
It's all right. I
Yeah.
got myself confused also.
Mary, you started out on a real good notion too. Is there anything to do with vehicles in your yard?
That's coming.
Oh, okay.
That's what we talked
Hallelujah.
about. Yeah,
Well, I don't have it on this one. It's coming.
it's coming.
It
Oh.
was discussed at the last meeting. So I
Okay.
had this one ready, I don't have the other one ready.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I got myself a little bit ahead
No,
of
that's
myself.
good
But
though.
we did
It's
talk
all
about
right.
it, though.
It's
Excellent.
because I read the original bylaw, it's okay.
There's a resolution to support that. but it's
Right,
not here today.
yeah. Okay,
Sorry.
questions? I think we're straight. All in favor?
Hallelujah.
All right, so the amendment is passed.
Well, no, the amendment's not passed. No. The new one's passed.
The new bylaw is
Now, having said that, Mayor, in your background there is the amendment.
right.
Yes,
If you want to do a reading on it, it's there.
but that's what I was wondering. Should we move that forward?
That's up to you. So
All
under
right.
7B2 on your
Yeah.
agendas, there's a bylaw 1655A.
A,
And that is the amendment that you just made a motion for us to create.
right.
I'll make a motion to do first reading on bylaw 1655A. Is that unsightly premises? Unsightly
Right.
properties.
Okay, so that start to make sense. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, so first reading has
Do you wanna
been
do
done.
two?
No, we're going to
Bring that
leave.
back, not confused with any other amendment.
No,
That'd be great.
no, let's not
Wouldn't
go
that be nice?
ahead of ourselves.
Promise.
All right. This one was a complicated one.
It was a bit.
Way too.
We have not had a mess like that for a long time. Sorry I created it.
Helps us get on our
I'm not trying
toes.
to change any words on you, I promise.
7B3, it was to have myself on the Rotary Hospital Committee. Councillor Selk?
I'll move that Mayor Kronen be appointed to the Rotary Committee, the Rotary Hospital.
The committee is a subcommittee of the Rotary.
Yeah.
Questions? All in favor? Thank you. Let's do 7B4. If you remember, Councillor Selk had brought a recommendation that we should support that AUMA resolution regarding resource communities. And what it involves is for the motion to be read with the town of Carlson being
Yeah.
put in.
Would you like me to?
Please go ahead.
Before
Okay.
you go there, Councillor Selk, it's
Okay.
also requesting a sponsoring councillor.
No, but this is
So
what
we
I
can
was
consider
wondering.
you as one-
Okay.
That's what I thought. I thought you were it.
Okay, that's great if that's how you want to do it. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll read the entire
So,
motion as
Put your
presented by
name,
you.
put your name inside there.
Will do. Okay. I'll move that Cardston, the town of Cardston, join the Resource Communities of Canada Coalition, and I will name myself as the sponsoring councillor. And the motion should read, whereas responsible resource development is essential for the future of Canadian municipalities, whereas there is a need to coordinate the Canadian municipal voice to, 1, advocate for a responsible resource industry, 2, ensure municipal perspectives are being heard on issues impacting resource development, and 3, share factual information regarding resource development interests. Whereas the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association and other municipal associations across Western Canada have created a Resource Communities of Canada coalition to facilitate a coordinated approach to represent municipal resource development interests across the country. Whereas the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association and other municipal associations across Western Canada are asking municipalities to support the Resource Communities of Canada coalition. Now therefore be it resolved that Council from the town of Courtston support the Resource Communities of Canada coalition.
Perfect. Excellent. Questions? All in favor? Thank you. All right, I think that's an important resolution to be forwarded to AUMA as a show of support. All right, under 8, you have committee and other reports. You have a financial report that has been given to you. The only thing I can say is that the audit is moving quite well. They have pretty well completed all the works I wanted to do
Yeah, all
in the office, and they are going to be within the time frame given to them in their contract to deliver the audit.
We're still scheduled for the 19th for audit review. Was it 19th for this one?
Question, Councillor. Let me confirm that and email you. They talked about doing two things. They talked about doing just phone interviews with you as the committee individually. But let me confirm that. I'll email you the three of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was tentatively set for the 19th.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. Let me check with the auditor and see.
I would prefer to meet as a committee with one of them. That's my preference. I don't know about Councillor Selk and Councillor Drew.
That's fine.
I will confirm that tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Let's go. So any other question regarding the financial?
We need a motion. to
So,
accept
no,
that.
we don't need a motion, is to be filed for information. Under 9, question of Councillor Barn. He wanted to talk, first of all, about the Alberta Southwest meeting that's coming
Yeah,
to town.
Yeah.
What he needed to know for the numbers to be able to start to worry about the venue that's going to be reserved in town for the meal.
so
As to
the,
who's the
they switch every month to a different venue, and Carson hasn't done it for over a year. And they keep on asking us, and I better I better get on the ball here. And so they were wanting to know if we would do it on May the 1st, and if we could book the cobblestone to do that. Usually we have 15 to 17 people attend that, and we have a supper before the meeting. And up until the last few months, they've always had, whatever community it was in, they invited the councils to come if they wanted to attend and come and see what's going on at those meetings. And so they told me if I want to invite the council to members, those who would like to attend that meeting on, if we can do it for May the 1st, I just need to know the numbers so we can get in touch with Ivan and let him know. And the Alberta Southwest pays for all the meals and everything, so there's no cost to that one. So my proposal is that we sponsor that meeting at the Cobblestone, if we can get it, on the 1st of May. Now, Bev said that if we decided we'll do it, she'll make the contacts, because she's got to write the checks, and she's got to get the menu together and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So I'm just asking if you would like to attend that meeting, if you can, if there's any that would like to come.
Okay. Can we have a show of hand? Who would like to go? It's normally around
Starts at 6 o'clock.
o'clock.
And it's just, the supper usually goes till 6:30, and then the meeting is called to order, and we're usually done 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish.
Yeah. Okay. So can we start again? How many of you will go?
I have FCSS. that
Yeah,
night.
okay, appreciate that. So about 4
Did you say you?
with yourself?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
That's too
So
far ahead for
4
the
plus
schedule.
yourself, 5.
5 of us.
See what's
Okay.
going
Okay.
on.
All right.
All right.
Now, I wanted to ask you, Councillor, there are sometimes visits by the group to points of interest in the town, because it's a chance for us to feature our town. So I was wondering, are they interested at all to go visit the Remington or to do a
That's
tour of the
possibility.
town?
I would
or-
ask Bev, and then we could bring that up at the next meeting in April. We've got a meeting coming
Okay,
up.
could you maybe
See if they'd like
ask,
to. That's a great idea.
because if they want to, I mean, the museum
Then
could
they
be
would come
open,
earlier.
the carts could be open, they could do a
Yeah.
tour around the temple. I mean, if they're interested, there could be a few points there.
Give them a buggy ride from Remington.
Well, that is something else, we could maybe do something. All right. There was another item of business you were interested in, Councillor. There was a spray park. You wanted to know if there was any more information regarding that. And what we know up to now is that the Rotary had requested a grant of 200,000, only got 100,000. The town were asked to give 90,000. That is in a budget for this year, and the Rotary now has to find a way to raise another $100,000 before the program,
Before it can go
the
forward.
project can move forward.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Jeff?
One tiny little thing, it's in the budget actually for next year.
Oh, that's right, next
But
year,
We're gonna talk about that.
2020, yeah.
We're gonna talk about it at mill rate.
Have we got any commitment out of the county?
Rotarians are doing fundraising, so.
They are the one who are contacting Snudders.
I thought they were,
Okay.
I thought they were approaching the county.
Yeah, they were
He
supposed
did.
We
to.
just haven't heard
I
yet.
can't remember what my son told me.
Yeah. All right. The other point, Councillor, you were mentioning, you wanted to know something about the solar project. Where are we with that? I would let Jeff talk
Okay.
to us about the latest on that project.
So not much different than when we had this 10 days ago, or whatever it was. The only thing that's changed is we did so the grant application is a two-part. It's part one, expression of interest, and then they evaluate your program or your project, and then if it gets through that, then you're invited to do the second phase. So we've been invited to do the second phase, so it passed the expression of interest phase.
Good.
But we must have tendered quotes for the second phase. So probably, I don't know, Alex was working on it today, so either tomorrow or first of the week, we'll put it out to tender. And we'll probably do that for 10 days or 2 weeks and see what we get back, and then we'll submit that quote with the second phase of the application.
Great.
Does it?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
wanted to know.
all right. The last point we were going to discuss was you were interested in Lee Creek, the cleanup, etc., and you
Yeah.
want to take it away?
Over the years, we've had the community get involved in the cleanup in the river bed. I don't know that we've done that for a long time. Now we've got a situation, we've got, 4 beaver dams built along there, and to me, it's going to pose a problem for the future, because they just keep on building, and the river keeps on getting higher, and then you've got a flooding problem. We've got, I know that we talked about that we can't go in the river with equipment to pull those things out, but what's to say that we can't get people in there, pulling them out a stick at a time, involve the whole community? The mayor suggested that perhaps we could get the old man watershed group involved, and maybe they could come and give us a hand, because it's really, I think it's right up their alley of having good waterways and clean waterways. And I know that, every once in a while, a grocery cart will rear its ugly head in the river, and a tire, and
Yeah.
there's lots of kinds of things that go in that river, and I see them every spring, it'll come up. So I'm just wondering what the council would think about having that river clean up and having people get involved rather than machinery.
Councillor Brown?
I just have a question on that. So I'm all for supporting a river cleanup because Communities in Bloom did it last year.
Right.
And we cleaned a pile of stuff out of there. Having grown up around a lot of beaver dams, because I'm actually from Beaver Lodge, so, you know, it's kind of our thing. You can't pull out a stick at a time to destroy, that's not how it works. And
I don't know.
Isn't that a fish and wildlife? Like, we don't really have business, in my opinion, we don't really have business touching something like that. That's like me going and
Protective.
removing a deer. I feel like that should be handled by the people who specialize in
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So I'm all for the supporting of plastic and tires and all of that, 100%. But I feel like that's a little out of our realm.
Just historically speaking, those beaver dams have been cleaned out of there every year except for this past year.
By who?
Lloyd was in there and cleaned those out of there all the time he was in there. Or
Had that authority?
before he was there, those were always cleaned out. There was never a beaver dam that stayed there, ever. This is the first year that they've stayed there.
All right, can I maybe
Yeah.
interject here?
Please do.
What I was talking to Councillor Barnes about is that a good advice would be given to us by Old Man Watershed.
Yeah.
They are the one who should advise us how to handle that. The same thing with the banks that start to have a lot of growth of those young,
Yeah, there's lots of trees starting to grow in there, and they're getting,
right.
I mean, those are little now, and you can't see, I mean, people can hide down in there and do whatever they do in there
So-
now, especially when the leaves are all in place. But can you imagine what's going to happen as those trees grow and get bigger? It's going to be very difficult. I know what it's like. I cleaned over 300 of those stupid trees out of my backyard when I first bought
Right.
my property, and it's not easy,
So-
but you have to get it done.
So here again, I believe that Old Man River would be the right group
Yep.
to give us the proper advice as to how to handle that. If you remember, we are partners with Old Man River.
Yep.
And they are willing to do a project with us. And we might even have another group of, in a community that will be partnering with us. And I will let Jeff talk to the new project that we have been approached with.
Oh, it's the junior high is doing a chapter on watershed management.
Right.
And so Mr. Olson, science teachers agreed to, well, we just conceptually talked about using that class to do a cleanup in the spring. And they've also applied for some, in a contest, to do some watershed management projects to enhance the watershed that we told them we would support in the Creek Valley, should anyone be the successful proponent of that. I'll mention really quick, we do about the beaver dams and beavers. So we do trap them when we have we have to get a damage control license, it's called. You cannot remove a den or a lodge without special licensing. And then in Lee Creek, we have the sculpin. And so DFO and Alberta Environment are very protective of destroying naturally made habitat.
Absolutely.
So we have to be really careful.
Yeah.
We have in the past, in my time, we could not operate machinery, but we could use a grapple hook on a machine to remove them, which we've done a number of times since I've been here.
I've watched them do it.
That seemed to have shifted a bit last year, our ability to do that, but it's not out of the question. It's just a matter of permitting. So we'll have to investigate that just a touch more, but there's some specific licenses now you have to have. If you're on private land, you can
Yeah.
trap beavers and shoot them all year long. But you can't do that in the public tributaries. And so we've just got to look at the permitting a little closer to see what we're going to do there.
All right, so administration will carry on looking for a date. I said to Jeff, we need to start contacting Old Man River to try to find when is a good time for us to do the cleanup. And we normally do it in May sometime.
Yeah.
And we
I
regularly
make a
have been.
recommendation that we have,
Do you want a formal recommendation, Jeff?
If you want to direct us to engage Old Man Watershed Council on planning creek
Yes.
cleanup, that would be a great motion.
Please go
that's
ahead.
my recommendation. That's exactly what I was going to say.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. So there is a motion on the table to do the cleanup in conjunction with Allman River this spring, and possibly with the
I forgot the name of the other watershed group that the junior highs.
water.
It's on,
Watershed Advisory Council or something?
something like that, yeah.
Anyway, we'll work with them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
work with them as well, yeah.
All right. All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, under item 10, correspondence. So you will see there is a request for Alberta Winter Games notice, but honestly, we're a little small for that.
But I want it.
Build a ski jump somewhere.
I think that, if I might, I
Go
think
ahead.
it was for both summer and winter.
Yeah. Well, you had a chance to pick, did you not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, having said that, I'm not
The
suggesting
summer
that we
one,
go for it because, just because of the scope and the amount of partnering we would
you
have to
you
do.
know, the summer games, yeah, I can see that now. The summer,
And then the southern Alberta.
That's right.
That's right.
It's different.
Much bigger.
We
right.
can manage.
Yeah,
Yes, it's not the same scope at all. This is Alberta.
Right.
Honestly, that's a little bit beyond our scope.
8,000 people you have to be
Yeah.
willing to house.
10.
And
That's the
you,
population. is
yeah.
the
No,
Right.
it's 8,000, it's, no.
Oh, the
it's-
population needs to be?
you need to be able to house them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
we
8,000 people.
We have no
Take care of
facilities for that.
8,000.
I mean,
And can you imagine the millions of dollars it costs to build the facilities? I watched them build the one at the Red Deer College. I mean, the official games venue for the rink and everything there, huge place.
it's
Well,
not,
there's no way, we haven't got
wait,
that
it's
kind.
not part of our game.
Yeah.
Councillor Selk?
No.
No, okay, all right. 10B, chaperone license and registry. For you who are new on council, you might be a little bit surprised with this letter. So to give you a little bit of background, about, was that 2 years ago, Jeff?
Years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, 3 years ago. Anyways, we had, the town of Cardston had managed to gather interest from all southern Alberta municipalities, from here right up to the Medicine Hat, and to be able to support the license and registry businesses who were commissioned originally by the government to deliver services. And what's happened over time, the government slowly is reclaiming some of those business. For example, the Alberta Justice has reclaimed all the fines. So that was 1.5 million or more that has been diverted from those registry back to the government through a portal. So what's happening, there's a parallel kind of system happening where the government has a portal to make it convenient for people, but the convenience is hurting businesses that are very important in all our communities. Imagine yourself not having that in town and having to go to Lethbridge for basic birth certificate, death certificate, or whatever. And it becomes extremely inconvenient. There's about 130 different type of services that are offered. So I think we've done our two bets. This is for information.
Mayor, is this something that AUMA should get on board with?
They have
as a
been
resident? I
on
know
it.
they have been, but maybe they need to bring it back.
I'm just going to, in the next Mayors and Reeve, I'm going to talk to the person that is in charge of AUMA and making sure that they are still knowledgeable about the difficulties
Right.
that those businesses have to stay alive.
You might want to do some checking too. I was just informed that the driver examiner now,
Right.
he's retiring and they're not replacing him.
That's
It's all
correct.
going provincial again. They took it
correct.
away and made it private, and now it's going back provincial.
Yeah, yes,
And where are
it's-
they going to go to get their driver's license and stuff like that now, right?
Well, Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
yeah. Anyways, that is there for information, because what they're trying to do is to make sure that all those who are going to run for the provincial election are aware of the dilemma that those registry are facing. And I think it's a fairly good description of the issue and the problem. Okay? So I just wanted to let you know about that. AUMA, Morishida.
Pushing their insurance program.
So we are part of it. An update, information. All right? And that will conclude our regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to go closed session.
All right, we have one item of confidential nature. Is an update for council on the ICF. Councillor Court, Councillor Selk, and myself are part of this meeting, and every month we give an update in closed session. We cannot divulge the result in public at this point. All right, so all in favor? Thank you very much.
Good day, guys.